we turn to baseball. And the good stuff. I'm kidding. We're joined by Kemp Gouldin, who is here and has a wonderful initiative bringing baseball to Egypt. Good morning.
Morning, Kemp.
Good morning.
Can I just say what an awesome name that is?
Yeah, it's a proper name.
Yeah, it's cool. So you're here. You're here from the States for a couple of days, and you come to Egypt regularly because of this awesome initiative called Because Baseball, right?
Tell us about that.
Yeah.
Well, the idea behind baseball is to bring baseball to Egypt, really as a vehicle for bringing together people. And we're starting with Egyptian youth. We began a league just this fall that has 120 Egyptian youth between the ages of 8 and 12 learning the game and playing the game. Yeah.
Okay, and okay, so Mark's a little bit confused. Can you
explain baseball to me? I've seen it on films, and I see that thing where they do and they put the three fingers like down. They're standing behind the guy with the bat, and there's the thing. Is it like cricket?
Well, that's going to require a couple steps. First, you're going to need to explain to me cricket.
Okay.
Yeah, and then from there we can work through the similarities and differences.
Well, tell us about baseball.
Yeah, never mind cricket.
Tell us about the game.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that about the fingers on being held down. That's the catcher, and I've heard that from a number of Egyptians who have seen movies. That's usually the very same anecdote they share with me. So there's a pitcher, he throws it to the catcher, pitcher, catcher, pitch, catch.
Okay.
There's a batter that then tries to hit that ball, and if he does, he then runs from bases. There's 4 bases, first, second, third base, and then home base is the 4th, and you score a run.
Home run!
A home run when you run to home.
So it's how far you can sort of bat the ball, so until someone else comes you and tags you, and then you're out, right? If someone tags you, you're not at the base.
Exactly, that's the general
See, Mark, I know. See, I told you.
With the tag thing there. Well, so you're bringing this to Egypt. What's the reason? Why did you think you were sitting at home in the States, I know you're from Washington, D.C., and you know what? I think the Egyptian people need themselves a little bit of baseball. Why was that?
Well, it's interesting. So there's actually an historical precedence of baseball in Egypt. So in the
we had baseball here?
You had something.
Okay.
400 BC. So
oh, really?
If you go down to Aswan at the Temple of Philae.
Okay.
On the outside of that temple, there are hundreds of reliefs, but one of them shows the pharaoh holding a bat and a ball. And so many historians would say that is a precursor to the modern game of baseball. So, what I thought is it's time to bring baseball back to Egypt.
Yeah. I was going to say, I mean, can we say that we invented baseball?
I don't know why not.
We said it. It's official.
We said it here. Absolutely. It's not American. It's not an American sport. It's ours. All right. And so you've been working with youth. You said from the ages of 8 to 12?
That's right.
Right. So how have they been, with understanding baseball, taking it on, their excitement, their passion, all that?
Well, I think it's one of those things where kids, in general, no matter where they're from, are eager to learn new things. And we've really seen that here in Egypt. Obviously it was a foreign game to them when they first began.
Yeah.
But what they have seen and what we have seen is an incredible joy and enthusiasm that they have learned and brought to the game. And they've become very skilled. And I've been impressed over the 6-week time. You've seen players that knew nothing about the game to players that are very, very talented at catching, throwing, and hitting. I'm very impressed with Egyptian youth. I think we're on to something here, and I'm very excited to see that first Egyptian professional player emerge.
Well, there you go.
That would be awesome.
I mean, Egyptians are generally very good at squash, do very, very well in squash competitions, on the world stage and everything. I guess it's not much of a leap to move over. Still a bat and a ball, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Mark trying to find any way to relate to this.
I'm going through. No, I like that. It seems like a fun sport.
It's a very fun sport, yes.
Kemp, are you any good at baseball? Can you play baseball? Where, did you have,
that was a deep sigh.
Yeah, that deep sigh was the real deal. I mean, look, the cool thing about baseball is, no, I was not a professional. I would never consider myself a gifted baseball player, but what baseball also means, and what baseball means to Americans, and what I'm excited to see it mean to Egyptians, is it's also a family affair. So I grew up throwing the ball with my mother and father at home, and would play with children in the neighborhood. And similarly, what we've seen here is that we have mothers and fathers learning to throw the ball with their kids, bridging that intergenerational connection. And then you have kids from the neighborhood playing with each other in this league. So in a similar way, in the way that baseball to me meant bringing together families and communities, I'm seeing the same thing translated here in Egypt.
That's really nice.
That's wonderful. That's really cool. And so, I mean, you've started with younger, kids and stuff. Where do you want to take this? I mean, what's the next step?
So the next step, we'll expand the league in the spring. So as I said, right now we have about 120 youth that we're reaching. We'll bring in a couple more teams that should push us up to around 160.
This is in Cairo?
This is
in Cairo alone, yeah?
In Cairo to begin with. And sort of the limiting factor as we begin is the baseball historical memory in this country. There's a small community of people who do know it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been really fun to find both Egyptians and American adults who have a passion for the game, have a passion for learning the game, and have a passion for children and teaching them the game. So the next step, and we've begun this, is to bring PE teachers into the mix.
Oh,
awesome. Yeah.
Teaching
take
them
it to
the
schools.
game, and then they will teach children at their schools to really expand our reach. And so far we have 5 PE teachers who are coaches and now become experts, and they are going to be teaching at their 2 schools, and that's a model we hope to replicate.
That's really good, because a lot of the teachers that I know in Egyptian schools who are foreign teachers are British, so they're going to be getting the kids to play football and rugby or whatever like that.
This is not American football. I just want to point out.
Football, soccer football, and so I guess it's really nice to have them being able to, because I mean it's a great game to play for young people, for anybody really. It's less violent than a lot of the other games.
That's right.
Which is good.
It still involves a bat. I don't know about that.
That is true.
That is true.
Well, we're going to come back and we'll talk some more about this and talk about some of the events that you have taking place and how people can get involved with your initiative. And here this morning with Kemp Gouldin, who had this idea to bring baseball to our area, to Egypt, and that's exactly what he did. Good morning, Kemp.
Morning, Kemp.
Good morning.
I can't believe that you just had this idea and you were like, oh, do you know what? I'm just going to go and see what we can do, and really wanted to introduce baseball to people.
That's right. I've spent a lot of time in the region. I worked for the San Francisco Baseball Giants in the United States, a professional team, and I've coached kids and mentored kids forever. And so this was sort of a beautiful dovetailing of all those interests.
That's awesome. And so how long ago was it now that you came up, that you decided, okay, I'd really like to bring baseball to Egypt?
It was about 2.5 years ago that the idea really just popped into my mind, and I got very excited about it, and it was fun to see it become a reality over the last couple years.
So how have you made it happen? I mean, do you have people like here as well, foundations, anything like that supporting it?
So I mean, what I love to talk about is that this has been truly a team effort. I mean, this is an idea I had, but without a group of people that you have that you can trust and that are excited about it, nothing gets done. So the Shafiq Gabra Foundation has been instrumental, really indispensable in seeing this off the ground, both with support on the ground and funding. And then we have this collection of volunteer coaches who are excited and love baseball and love kids and love the idea of bringing the game that they love to the people that they love. And so to me, just seeing these amazing human beings rallying together for a great cause and a great sport, it's just been tremendously satisfying.
Now you say, and you're growing all the time, and you've got 120 kids or so, and you're getting bigger. How can, if someone's listening right now and they would like to get involved, is there an age range, or if there's a parent listening, perhaps they want their kid to get involved? How would they do that?
How'd they go about it?
And what's the info that people need to know?
No, that's a great question. So what I first would suggest is that people visit our Facebook page, and it's just Because Baseball.
Because Baseball.
That's right. And if you prefer, our website is becausebaseball.org.
Well, there you go.
So those are quick ways to get your primer, so to speak, on what we're doing. And we will, before the next season, which will be circa March, we'll have a live sign up. So just keep checking that page. You'll be able to see pictures of the kids playing. You'll be able to see videos of the coaches speaking, of volunteers speaking. So that'll be the quickest way for kids to get involved. And at an adult level, we're also always excited to have kindred spirits involved, to have adults who want to work with kids and are passionate about sports to come on board. And I think one thing that's important to emphasize is that prior baseball knowledge is not necessary. We are going to teach you, along with the kids, to empower you, give you the tools to become great coaches for the next generation of Egyptians.
Mark, you should go.
Yeah, I should go. You'd be a baseball coach.
I would love it. Mark, you can show up. I know nothing. Teach me everything.
I just need a tuk-tuk to get round from base to base.
I'm going to take that as a commitment. All right.
All right, sounds
Sign
good.
me up.
So basically, any kids, doesn't matter. They don't need to know anything about baseball, no knowledge, no understanding of the sport at all, and they just need to sign up, come, and have a great time.
That's right. And we want to emphasize this is for all Egyptian youth.
All Egyptian youth.
No matter who you are.
Just a couple more questions.
Yeah.
Koshery. Have you tried koshery?
You know, it's interesting. My friends will back in the States will tell you that I talk about kosher with far too much frequency. Oh, I love it.
It's carb-tastic.
It is. I mean, it is hard to finish a koshery meal and still be hungry. I'll say that.
Yeah, for the next week, in fact.
Exactly.
Well, best of luck with everything. It's been really nice to meet you, Ken. Oh, who do you support, by the way?
What's your baseball team?
Yeah, what's your team?
It's got to be the San Francisco Baseball Giants, as I said earlier. I have a deep affection for that team, having worked for them, and the organization is tremendous, and I love the way they do things. But just to be clear, I'm a fan of all baseball.
All right. Do you have a signed ball? That seems to be something that all Americans have, like in movies.
I think I probably have a number of signed balls.
There you go, see?
The gloves as well.
Yeah, the
right?
gloves and that stuff, and baseball cards.
Well, how about this? Next time I come back, I'll bring you guys some signed balls.
Look at that.
Yay, I want one. Awesome.
Because baseball.org.
Baseball.
Because baseball on Facebook as well. Kemp Gouldin, it's been lovely to have you on the show this morning. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
very
Best of
much.
luck with the baseball.